Hello everyone, this is Bernice from the Napping Mouse, and in today's video we're going to be creating a waterfall for one page and then also covering other pages with beautiful papers, and we're also going to stencil. Okay, well, grab your favorite drink and let's get crafting. Okay, here I am cutting getting the scrap paper, and this is packaging paper. I'm also using mesh from a potato sack from the grocery store and also ephemeris. Now, here I'm looking for a page to cover, and I'm considering this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make this into pockets or just cover the pages here. And that one also, but that would be that not that page, but this would be a simple page to cover. So I decided to go ahead and use that. And instead of scissors, I went ahead and used my metal ruler to cut it, and going just taking each of the papers. They are folded, by the way, and these are just packaging papers that I received from shipments like Amazon or any kind of other order that either my husband or I have purchased. So I wanted to use these paper as well. Now I'm giving it about a half an inch to a quarter, excuse me, half an inch to 3/4 of an inch border on the bottom, and I'm just folding it and making sure that each paper is straight and also has the same distance on the bottom, and then just folding it over. And I decided at this point I wanted to put one more, so I went ahead and did that. I would cut a few pages out uh, just so you can have extras, but this was perfect right here. So I decided to staple it, give it two staples here on the top, and then I'm going to glue it down using oh, I decided to trim there too. That kind of bothered me, so I just trimmed it up there. And so I'm going to glue it down using a glue stick and also some liquid glue. The glue stick that I'm using is from Scotch, and that is I'm very happy with this glue stick. And then I wanted to keep it flat too, because when you use the liquid all over the place, sometimes it's not like completely flat. You'll see some kind of bubbles, but the liquid glue does adhere to it and keep it on there pretty permanently. So yeah, there I go. And just, I'm not liking how I didn't cover up most of that the black space in the back there on the paper, so I went ahead and just repositioned it. But I want to cover up those staples because I'm not a fan of it. And so I'm using the mesh, which is a great idea to recycle, um, to use as a recycling and just create like a nice textured element to it. And I just like it. And of course, I'm using again the Cavallini um, from Cavallini Paper Company, and that's one of their uh, gift wrapping paper. Highly recommend them. They're a great paper to use. So I'm going to add a lot of glue here. Now, in hindsight, a glue stick would be a lot better. It would stay down, and you could, continue gluing. You just got to be careful with your fingers, of course. But I decided to do it this way, and I'm going to put a paperweight on top of it. So here I go. And then I just wanted to see other ones that I had. And of course, I decided to ink the edges. That's what I said I was going to do. And I just really love the look of when you ink the edges. It gives it a more distressed look, a more vintage appeal, but it also kind of provides a more, like, it pops up out of the page. It separates it from the page in the bottom, and it just gives it more of a wow factor, which I really love. So from here on out, you'll see me inking the edges more, more and more. So yeah, glue that one down again, and I'm just deciding which ones I'm going to use. And yeah, again, this is all from the Cavallini Paper Company too. So I decided to use that one, but it kind of did like a little peekaboo thing there. And I wanted to add another element, another kind of texture to it. And I saw these two that I had, which was a ribbon, but I really, when I folded it in half, I really liked the fact that it was a tab. So I just went and stapled it quickly and worked on this, even though this is not a tutorial for tabs, for creating tabs, but it just came to mind at the time. And so I went with it. And I'm looking for a paper to cover those staples right there. I'm not so I like the front of the staple, but I do get concerned about the back of the staple because it can snag and get caught to anything, and I just don't want it to ruin a project or hurt anybody. So that's why I like to cover those staples. And now I'm going to use this, and I'm going to turn it around or wrap it around the page, just like I did with the denim ribbon. And there you go. Now, in hindsight, yes, I should have inked the edges first before gluing it down, but yeah, that'll become a habit pretty soon. So here I am adding some vintage buttons, and I've acquired these through thrifting at garage sales, estate sales, even my local thrift stores. But and you can get a lot of these, even like a jar of them will cost you next to nothing, or a bag of them. But also look around your house to see the amount of buttons you surprisingly acquired. At least that has been my case. So I've chose one, and I decided to glue this one down. I just think it adds more texture, more element to it. It just gives it more of that ephemera vintage feels that normally people would throw away, but they're still beautiful. So there you go. And I found this little flower which kind of matched the Japanese paper that I was working on. So now I'm looking for another sheet here to cover, and I want to use stenciling is one part of it, and also I want to use some of the papers that I have from my scrap pile. And don't forget those ribbons too, because they do add a lot of nice feel, nice texture to it. Just gives it like a just a nice, warm, happy feel to the project. And so here I am. I'm looking for paper that I want to cover. Um, Now I like this paper. The flower one was actually lining paper for your drawers, for your linen drawers. Looking for some other stuff too that I like. And I saw this, loved it, but I didn't like the bottom that my cat actually tore into it. So I'm going to end up using that paper right there, the flower one, because it just covered perfectly. I didn't have to um, bend it or anything, or actually cut too much of it. So I just liked it. I love the color. I love the vintage look to it. It's not like completely white background. It's kind of like a cream background, so it just went with the whole appeal. Now I was originally going to cut it to trim it down to size for that one paper, but I decided to just cover it. So here you'll see me covering it down, or gluing it down with the two glue method. And so I'm using the glue stick and my art glitter glue here. Now, also consider using old newspaper or old junk mail as a protecting for your surface when you are using a lot of glue. So, and I have a habit, if there's an old magazine that no one's using, and so I'll go ahead and tear it up. Or there's a lot of like flyers that come in, I will use those up and tear it up and just use it for background. Even like old book pages, um, that the ones that have like the bad words and all that stuff, or not so nice content, and so I will actually use them as background for to protect my surface from glue. Now I decided to use this beauty here, and I am gonna glue this down. Beautiful. And and look at that. I fell in love with that ribbon, so I'll end up using that ribbon right there. And then also this one here, I do love, and I wanted to use it for something. So originally I was going to use it as a belly band. This one came from a bag, a shopping bag that I bought. Can't tell you where, don't remember where, but it is a plastic one. And so I decided to glue it underneath, and originally going to use it as a belly band, as you'll see. I'm folding it over and then carefully peeling back what I just glued. And this was like a last minute detail that I decided to use. And sometimes you just got to run with it. You know, if you have an idea that all of a sudden it just pops up, you know, just go for it. Just, you know, check it out and go for it. Don't overthink it. I have a habit of overthinking, and it is just pretty much annoying, to be quite honest with you. Learn from my mistakes here. So, because I wanted to use this ribbon, it is going to cover up the left side of this plastic thing. So, I decided to go ahead and make it into a pocket, folding it over just to make sure I'm not gluing to the other side. If this was a thicker ribbon, yes, I would have glued it to the other side. I would have folded the ribbon in half and then glued it on both sides. But it isn't going to work in this case. And I really wanted to use this ribbon. So there you go. So I'm getting my, there's goes Mila. Mila's being my supervisor. And so I'm using my Fabri-Tac for this. And I am going to glue it down, making sure that it's nice and straight and it's on one side of the paper. There's Mila supervising my work just to make sure I'm providing you the best content ever. If you do like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to my channel. Now, because I've had that extra one, I decided, no, I need to make this into a little bow. So let me see if I can do this into a little bow. And I did. And so I trimmed the edges here and decided where I wanted to put it, but really I didn't like anywhere there. So I just set it aside for now and went with it. Yeah, love the way it turned out and love the way it turned it as a pocket too. And that's just like a great flip over there. Um, it just worked out perfectly. And, you know, still obsessed with my little bow there, and Mila is supervising. Now I'm going to stencil. So here's another way of covering up your paper. If you don't want to cover it up because there's a ton of writing space or whatever, or you just like the paper, go ahead and stencil it. It adds another like dimension to it, like a background dimension to it. These stencils, I got them at Walmart, and Walmart in the crafting section, go ahead and look. I think it was supposed to be stenciling for like boxes or painting or something like that, but it was just perfect for my project here. So yeah, consider the stencil right there. And that's just a great way of covering it. You can also use stamps. So if you're going to use a stamp, and let's say you're going to use a brown color stamp, go ahead. You need to have some scrap paper on the side. So go ahead and stamp your image and then stamp it on the scrap paper and then stamp it into your project. It's a second impression and it just works beautifully. But here you'll see my stenciling and just using all kinds of things. And you see how Mila is supervising my work here and going, what in the world is my human doing? Now, I decided to use this grass as like a border. So, and I just think it turned out fine. Does it look like grass or does it look like a zebra stripe? I don't know. You tell me. But I'm going to go ahead and stencil both ends of this page here, creating a nice border. And I just think it looks nice, and I'm really happy with the turnout of this one here. And maybe sorry to give you a spoiler alert. Still obsessed with that little bow. Have to use it on this video. So I decided it is going to look perfect in the front there. And Mila is again in the way, and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't step on my project because she's going to get glue all over her paws, and then it goes all over my desk. So there you go, folks. Here you have it. This is towards the end. There's my pocket, and I decided to put something inside there so people will know that it is a pocket to use. Thank you so much for watching me, and I will see you in the next video.